We're live, I think. I'm sorry.
Of course we lie.
I guess my Chromecast is really far behind. Sorry about that. Hi everyone. Sorry. Slightly different flowchart in my head. Hello everyone. Welcome to Ōkami. I'm gonna be running this in New Game Plus any percent, which means that we are going to start from a completed file. At the end of the game, it'll tell you like, hey, do you want to save your game for a new game, and we can do it like that. So I'm just gonna go by race timing. It's easier to do than going by actual real-time timing. We have in-game timer anyway, so that's fine. So without much further ado, in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, I am running this on a PS3, first and foremost. I'm not running this on the newest versions of the game that came out in 2017. This is because the most important glitch in the run has been patched on those versions. So yeah, in Ōkami we basically played as dog. They're a good dog, and they've lost their brush powers, and the idea is that you can get them back and defeat the big bad at the end of the game. That's the basic story, that's all you really need to know for story-wise, especially in this category, because we do so many sequence breaks that the story is actually like not even explored. Even if I were to let the cutscenes play out. There we go. So here we're gonna get the first of our quote-unquote brush powers back, and I'll show you what that means. So we get a little constellation, and then we can draw a star. So the main gimmick of this game is that we have this brush that we can use to draw stuff with. The brush power that we got back in this case is rejuvenation, and it allows me to rejuvenate this river so we can get past it. Special message to Oride. Yes, I have not learned the first skip. I'm sorry. So that's the basic idea right here. There are currently in the newer versions, there are a lot of people that run this on New Game. It's actually more active than the New Game Plus version of this game. The New Game Plus version of the speedrun. It used to be the other way around, but nowadays, because of the newer versions, New Game has gotten way more traction, and it's honestly a cooler run than New Game Plus anyway, so... So here we're gonna rejuvenate this sword to get ourselves a new brush power. And there we go. That is Power Slash. With Power Slash we're gonna slash ourselves out of here. We're not really gonna use it much in the run. Like, we don't actually use brush powers that much in the speedrun. They're mostly just used to progress through the game. Not really to use in fighting or whatever, but I'll explain that in a bit. So right here I'm gonna move a little far to the left. It looks a bit weird, but I'm walking around a fight trigger. And we're gonna be doing that more often, where we just kind of go past triggers that are slightly smaller than what you'd expect. There we go. Now the idea of the start here is basically to kind of teach you the game, and it locks the progression by having a fruit hang from a tree that you need to cut down. So you need to get Power Slash to continue on in the game. There is literally no way of not doing this bit. So right there, cut down the fruit. And we have opened up a village. And we're just gonna not really care about this village. And I'll be doing the major glitch that you'll be seeing throughout the entire run. I'm gonna do at least 100 of these glitches in the entire run. It's an infinite jump glitch that I'll be referring to as the KT glitch. So I'm gonna be doing it right here, and then I'll explain what's going on. Nice, first try. There we go. So the way that trick kind of works is in New Game Plus you have these special items that allow you to change Amaterasu's skin. So right now we are a different dog. They're called Karmic Transformers, hence KT. And basically by switching in mid-air and then pressing the dash button on the first frame that the game is loaded again, we can do a dash basically, and it counts as a ground dash. And out of that ground dash, we can jump. So we can just do infinite jumps, which breaks the game kind of a lot. There we go. And here we're gonna go into our first fight, which means I'm gonna be doing a bunch of equips. What I'm basically going to be equipping is endgame weapons and a special New Game Plus item that basically makes me invincible, and I can use the brush as many times as I want. And I finish the fight by using a special battle item that I've bought a lot of before finishing this specific file, and it's pretty useful. So right here, I'm jumping in and out of cutscenes. You might have noticed that throughout the run. It's basically to keep speed. So you see how Ami is running fast right now. This is like the fastest mode of running, and you kind of have to restart it every time if you don't really save your speed. And you save your speed by jumping in and out of certain loading zones and cutscenes. It's kind of useful. So right here I'm gonna use the Exorcism Slip, the battle item basically, to instantly clear this fight. I'll probably be doing that a lot throughout this run. It is an incredibly overpowered item. Even in the new game runs where it's slightly restricted, it's still overpowered. There we go. And then we'll be going into the back of... this is Hano Valley, by the way. And we're going to be meeting this little guardian sapling. So throughout the land, there are these little trees that basically guard the land from curses, and basically all of them have been rotted, basically, and we need to find a way to make them good again. But first, let's do a little minigame with Susanoo. Su. Sa. Oh. Sa. No. Oh. Go. And then we're gonna hit a bear. Don't call PETA. And this is Ball. Now Ball is terrible. God, I already missed it. Yeah. So this is a round object, and it has a way too precise set of collisions. So controlling it while going fast is kind of difficult. Ooh, come on, work with me. There we go. That was not bad, but it can get really annoying. So right here, the game expects me to have a certain brush power. It expects me to have Sunrise, like that. But I don't actually have the brush power, and I will never get the brush power, because every single instance that I need to use Sunrise, I don't actually need to have it, which is nice. And in this case it gives me this brush power. So this is Bloom. By using Bloom we can rejuvenate these saplings and heal the areas again. So like right now I get nice clean water and everything, so that's kind of pretty. I'm gonna do another fight skip right here. There we go. Ooh, that was kind of close. And we skip the fight. Nope. Let's see if I can get him to hit the other one. Yeah. So here the campfire fight is loaded again, but you can just run around it and it's fine. Like I said, some of these triggers are just too small and you can really easily skip through them if you walk around them slightly weirdly. But yeah, now that we have Bloom, we can bloom this area so we can continue on with the game. There we go. So now the game just kind of expects you like, oh hey, you just bloomed Shinshu Field, don't you want to explore it? And our answer is no. And we're just gonna use our infinite jump glitches to skip right into the next area early. So right here, I'm gonna jump right here and do a couple of jumps. There we go. And straight to the next area. So in this next area we're going to be doing another really cool glitch, well, I guess it's a glitch, called Brush Adventure. What I'm basically going to be doing is stand in this corner. I'm going to move basically the camera angle and the camera itself at the same time. And this allows me to unhinge the camera and put it wherever I want to and bloom the tree from out of bounds. It's really cool. It is a glitch that has been found like 1.5 years ago, and especially in New Game it is used a lot to do a lot of cool things. So right here I am messing up my jumps. That's early. There we go. So right here I am jumping out of the way. There's a big cutscene trigger right there and I am skipping it for obvious reasons. And then we're gonna go up here and we're gonna run to that little area. And the only reason why we go up there is to basically trigger a fast travel point that we're going to be using later on. If I forget to do that, it loses about 3 minutes. I totally haven't done that in months before. So right here we're doing a different kind of KT glitch. It's called a liquid KT. Instead of having to do a frame perfect input, I can just dash close over the water and then jump out of just the switching of the Karmic Transformer, rather than having to do anything fancy, basically. So then we go into Taka Pass, and it is cursed again. And the tree is like right to the right here, you can see that on the map. However, we cannot bloom it. We first have to do a lot of movement, do a like flash fight, and do a lot of movement back. So if you got anything to say, feel free to do so.
Yes. So I'd just like to take a moment to talk about Crisis. Crisis is a charity supporting people out of homelessness for good. They achieve this through education, training, and support with housing, employment, and health. 100% of your donations will be supporting Crisis. If you'd like to know a bit about what your money would be going towards, They offer one-to-one support, advice, and courses for homeless people in 12 areas across England, Scotland, and Wales.
So yeah, right here is the short little fight. This is Waka. This was Waka. So yeah, basically, because of the late game weaponry and the New Game Plus item that I equipped, most of those kinds of fights become jokes. Because it's a strong weapon, and I have 10 times attack power. So it's just like, I can one-shot a lot of enemies in this game. And now it's the long walk back up to the sapling. So what is a possibility is, like, we're not supposed to do this sapling like this. You're supposed to have a different kind of brush power to open up a hole to a different tunnel that is a little bit faster to run through than this one. But yeah, we don't have that because we skipped it. Ah! Oh, come on. There we go. If I get too low there, I can't actually bloom the tree and I'll have to get back up again. Which is kind of annoying. And just like that, Takapot is all healthy again. Woo. So yeah, to kind of get an idea of just how much we're skipping in this specific speedrun, there are 13 brush powers that you need to get, and we only get 7 of those, I think. And we're only gonna be defeating one boss before the final part of the game. Usually you have to defeat like 7 different bosses as well, so yeah. A lot of stuff is skipped. So right here, doing this little fight, this is kind of a special fight that will open up another fast travel point right here. They're going to be useful later on, but for now we're just opening them up. And I'll be going to the next bit, which has a really cool trick in it as well. So right here, we're entering Sasa Sanctuary. Now, the idea here is that the gate is closed because the boss's daughter has been kidnapped, and you can only really enter Sasa when you save her. But, you know, we'll just jump over the loading zone right here, and then we're going to jump out of bounds. So what I'm doing here is called an interior clip. The way it works is that the interior areas, the interior parts of areas are below the exterior parts. So by going out of bounds like that, I can just fall into the loading zone, or fall into the interior area like that. I'm gonna be doing one more in this run, and it's a pretty cool trick. There's like a ton of them, and some of them are really cool, but yeah. So right here, this is the digging minigame. The idea is just to get Mr. Bamboo over there all the way to the bottom as quickly as possible. There we go, and we can use a couple of brush powers to speed him up. There we go. And all the way at the bottom, there you go. You get a special thing. So, by doing this digging game, we get another brush power. Which in this case is Water Spout. And with Water Spout, what we can do is we can move water around like so. Or we can create these pillars like so. Now, I never opened the gate to Sasa Sanctuary, so to get out, I'm gonna have to do more infinite jumps. Yay! There we go. And just like that. Oh, we're out again. And now what the game expects you to be doing once we're back in Taka Pass is that we need to go to the village up the hill right there with the little windmill. You can see it in the distance. But we'll just leave that for later. We'll come back to that. Let's just go to the next area. You know, it's way more fun to go fast. So this is City Checkpoint. It has like 3 different styles of skip. And we're going to be using what I like to call the second easiest one. There's an easy one, the second easiest one, and a ridiculously hard one. The really hard one is for New Game, and the rest is for New Game Plus. So what I'm doing here is skipping a really big part of the game, really. This skip alone saves half an hour of game time. So I'm not supposed to go on this geometry, but by using KTs, I can jump up here like that, and we're on the other side. And to show you how we're not supposed to be here, look at that. No back-facing polygons. So they never expected you to even be on this side with everything as it is right there. But yeah. Now we are in the next area of the game. This is Ryoshima Coast. And it is cursed. So we're gonna find the Guardian Sapling, bloom it, and then we can continue on breaking the game. Oh, I did not mean to go on this roof, but that's fine. Right here I'm gonna do another brush adventure. So again, pushing the camera out while changing the angle of the camera. And that'll allow me to do this water spout to give water to the Guardian Sapling. Fun fact, I can actually use the brush in this cutscene like this. You're not supposed to be able to use the brush there. And then we're gonna bloom this Guardian Sapling. And just like that, Ryoshima Coast is all nice again. And just like that, we're gonna be going straight into our next glitch, our next trick. I'm gonna angle the camera in a certain way to make this easier for myself. And we're out of bounds again. So this is another interior clip as with Sasa Sanctuary. And this time we're falling into another specific area. I always use the map to kind of guide myself as to where I need to go. In this case, we are in a dojo. And this dojo will give us a cool ability, which is kind of the reason why we went here as quickly as we could. It's the double jump. So I basically just cut down all the KTs I will have to do in half and a little bit more. So it's pretty cool. Basically the first 20 minutes of this speedrun is getting double jump as quickly as possible. Because it'll save so much time getting double jump early. And now that we have that, I'm gonna do another liquid KT to make this movement a little bit faster. And then carry on to the next part. So in Ryoshima Coast, what the idea is that we are going to the big city to the right here, basically. But instead of doing that, we're just gonna go straight into an area you're like very not supposed to be at yet. Again, by doing a bunch of infinite jump glitches. And we're in this area. So in this area, the Guardian Sapling has already been bloomed. And it's been bloomed by Waka over here. And Waka is just like telling us like, oh, it took you so long to get here, and I just bloomed the tree for you because you were so slow and whatever. It's just like, well, we got here in 24 minutes, I'm sorry. Trying my best here. So yeah. And right here, we're gonna go talk to this merchant, and we're gonna be buying mermaid coins. Now, mermaid coins are the currency needed to use fast travel points, and technically we can buy them after Sasa Sanctuary. However, because we skipped the cutscene that will unlock it, the first time we can buy it is when we enter Ryoshima Coast, because those are not, you don't need to unlock those to actually use them. And right here, that was Orca. We just set him up for later on. We're basically just here anyway. And it would create a conflict in our route if we didn't get him right now. And just like that, we're gonna go do a bunch of backtracking. So we're gonna go back to Taka Pass, and then we're gonna go to the village that I was mentioning earlier. But that's a bit of movement, so if you've got anything, feel free to say something short.
Alright, we have a couple of donations for you.
Cool.
A $15 donation from Luna217 saying, good luck on the run, Kinnin.
Thank you.
And as well as a whopping $100 from Kizuraido.
Yo, Kai.
Bork. Just wanted to give you as much as I could to help those less fortunate. Good luck on the run, Kinnin. Bork.
Thank you very much, Kai. Kai is a runner of this game, and I think Luna is too. Also, Kai, if you're watching, are you streaming yet? But anyway, so this area is cursed, but we're just gonna skip all that, and we're gonna go into a very interesting glitch. So I'll just be explaining that. We're gonna be doing Origin Warp. So what I'm trying to do in a bit is I'm trying to jump 2 frames before the loading ends, basically. And once it has once it has ended, once that happens, basically I'll be jumping before the game can set my respawn point. So after that, I'm gonna try and KT through the tunnel without touching the ground. And after I did that, after I've done that, I'll basically go out of bounds and void out to respawn all the way at a very specific point. So first, I'm gonna have to mash. First try, cool. So I got the frame first try right now. We have basically a setup where we can hear it. And I messed up the KT, so I'm gonna do it again. This might take a little bit of time. I hope I can get it quickly. Nope. So basically what I have right now is a hair tie on my controller. So I can mash while holding a direction. Because if I hold a direction, I can hear myself do a step. And if I do that step, I know that I haven't gotten the trick. But I don't want to just completely ruin my hands and whatever, so mashing with 2 thumbs is a lot easier on my hands, so that's why I do it like this. Getting unlucky. Technically it's tool assisted, but it's tool assisted in a way to prevent injury, so... And it's not like a rubber band or a hair tie are like $50 or something. It's not like I'm using a turbo controller. Ah, I'm getting really unlucky. Wow! I got it first try and then not again. Sometimes you just get really unlucky with it. Nope. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to... Good boy. It was going so well earlier. There we go. Okay, didn't hear a step, so I can continue with the actual glitch. Okay, and now we're gonna try and KT through this entire tunnel without touching the ground. Might have looked like I touched the ground, but I didn't. Ah, damn. Ah! It was going so well in practice. Thought this was a good Origin Warp day. Okay, got it again. Fix my mashing at the very least. Alright, here I'm not doing a full dash because the chances of bonking here are really big. There we go. So after doing all this, going through all this effort, if I don't drop right now, that would be nice. So after going through all this effort, I'm still not hitting my KTs. Okay, cool. So after going through all this effort, I'm gonna be respawning at the 000 mark. And for some reason, in this specific dungeon, the 000 mark is in the middle of the dungeon, right here, allowing me to skip about 10 minutes of gameplay. And it skips a 100 KT section that will basically would take you about 8 minutes to complete if you're fast, and at least like 10 minutes if you're not that good at KTs. Oh. Nice. I do have to KT a couple of times. Like right here again. I did warm up on my infinite jump glitches, but it still is a... wow. A frame perfect glitch. Like, I'm making it look easy, but it's really hard. Can someone confirm to me what my estimate was again?
So you have it as an hour and 23 minutes.
23. Oh boy. Okay. I'm probably gonna go a minute or two over estimate. Thought I had it at 25. Oh boy. Lesson learned. But hey, if I got my KTs perfect, I might have been able to make it. There we go. So right now, we are on top of this platform, and this way we can learn a new brush power. So all this effort is all just to learn a specific brush power. There we go. And that is Gillstorm. So with Gillstorm, we basically create a Gillstorm. We create some wind, and it's pretty cool. We're gonna have to use it to defeat a boss all the way at the end of the game, so that's why we're getting it. Go. And just like this. Yep. And then at the end, we're gonna do this cool little double jump and bonk, which allows us to fall back into the center of this little area. And because of that, we don't have to go back down and do difficult stuff. It's kind of nice. And what the game kind of expects you to do is be like, oh, you're just gonna defeat the boss now, so isn't it like, oh, you're sure you want to leave? We still have a boss to defeat. But yeah, no. We don't need to defeat the boss of this area to leave it, so we don't really care. So another cool thing about this little area, so you can see that it's still cursed, but at the same time I have basically rejuvenated a part of the village, like the wind is back in the village is the idea. Because of that, this area is now in a really weird state, which basically does something cool when I void out. So I'm gonna void out, make sure my camera is in a good spot. And by voiding out, the game puts me back at the start of the village. So I can just leave the village quicker than if I would have to run through the entire village again. Why it does that? Weird stuff. Reasons. The game just does it. It's probably because if you die due to the cursed part, that it puts you back at the start of the village. I think that's the idea. So if you void out, it does that too. It's useful for us, at least. So yeah, anyway, let's continue on with the backtracking. So all the way at like 10 minutes into the run, I opened up a fast travel point, and we're using it right now to go back into Agata Forest. So yeah, basically, if you're catching the idea of this run, it's basically divided into 3 parts. The first part is get double jump. The second part is get all the brush powers you need to finish the game. And then you just finish the game. So yeah, we are in the second part of this run. So right here, to enter this dungeon, you're supposed to do a fishing game and get the key, and then you can enter the dungeon, but yeah, we got this cool infinite jump glitch. If I can actually do it, that would be really nice. Okay. Just gonna start from the ground. Okay, I was late. Cool. Sometimes I can't tell if I'm early or late, so I reset on the ground. And even though it's a 30 FPS game, a frame perfect trick you have to do 100 times is still kind of annoying. Okay, so right here we are going to KT up onto this into this dungeon. Oh please, okay, thank you. So I jumped up early to skip a cutscene trigger. It's basically like the oh, look at this beautiful area part. And instead we're just gonna go straight up right here to a later part of the area. So the way that this area is cursed is because it has this like purple water going through it. And what we're doing right here is we're clearing the purple water so we can get the brush power that is in this area. And to do that, first we have to defeat these demon gates. And again, it's just use an exorcism slip. So if you got anything short, go ahead.
Alright, I just want to thank you all for watching the United Kingdom Speedrun Gathering. Normally we are a 2-day speedrunning marathon held 4 times a year in Glasgow, Scotland. But due to the situation of COVID-19, we're bringing you 3 days of exciting speedruns from the comfort of our own homes to yours.
Cool. Okay, one more fight, and then we're gonna go to one of the most annoying parts of running the New Game Plus categories, which is cutscene skip. So there's gonna be a cutscene coming up right after I draw this circle, and I hope I can skip it. Oh, of course I skip it, cool. So that cutscene, you have a single frame to skip it, and there is no way of telling if you skip. There's no way of timing it. So we basically just mash and pray and hope we get it. So if we get it, we basically save 18 seconds over not getting it, because it's always nice to lose 18 seconds over mashing. And we have no idea why it does that. Now luckily in the New Game Plus, in the New Game categories on the newer versions, you are completely unable to skip that cutscene ever, so that's a nice equalizer right there. So right here I am blooming these little flower patches. And by doing so, I can get a new brush power. So this is Vine, and it does this, basically. And by doing that, we'll be able to use that in a boss fight later on. And just like that, we're gonna be doing another KT right here to jump over the cutscene trigger I mentioned earlier. And just like that, we go out of the dungeon again. And now, for this part of the game, we need to make it night. And usually you get a brush power to make it night, but we skip that. So instead we're gonna run to the first area to do a certain thing that will make it night for a bit. But it's gonna be a lot of movement, so feel free to plug something.
Alright. I would like to say we thank ESA for supporting this marathon, but besides providing us their channel for streaming, they are sharing gear, technical assistance, and sponsors. Be sure to check out ESA Summer Online from the 24th of July to the 2nd of August. We would also like to thank BSG for supporting this marathon. They hold bi-monthly gatherings in the Netherlands. They have supported UKSG from the beginning by spreading the word and providing us with a channel to stream in past sessions, among other things. Mark your calendars, because BSG at Home, the online equivalent of BSG Annual, is happening from the 12th to the 16th of August. All these events are streamed on this very channel, so you won't need to go very far to watch them.
Awesome. So yeah, right there I talked to a priest, and he gives me a monster list of monsters to kill. And the game basically shows you when they only appear at night. So the game turns at night. So this is a slightly faster way of turning at night rather than having to wait for it to actually turn night, which is kind of useful. I will have to remember the Japanese sign that I just had, because I have to cross out the name, but it's fine. I basically pick one character and use that to pick which one I need to do. And to those asking in the game, in the chat, I do know what true cookie clip is, and we don't use it in this category. So, right here we're gonna go into another fight. We start off this time with a slip, mostly because of lag. You might not be able to really notice it, but it the game does lag a lot at the start of these fights, and it's actually the main reason why I'm actually playing this game in 720p rather than in 1080p. Because for some reason on the 1080p, the game just lags a lot more than it does on 720p. So if you're thinking about speedrunning the PS3 version, do put your PS3 on 720p rather than 1080p. It will save you a lot of headaches. So right here, we warp back to North Ryo, and we go on to Orca that we set up earlier. So yeah, this is why we needed to make it night. So we're gonna jump onto Orca. And Orca is basically well, not a fish, he's a dolphin that will carry us around on the big sea of North Ryo Coast. Luckily for us, he also counts as ground. So we're going to be using him as ground right here to KT up onto this cape, which is nice. Whee! And now the main reason why we need it night is because we need to draw a star in the sky for this guy. Not close enough. So we can wish upon it to bring back a galaxy. The Whirlpool Galaxy, right there. Isn't it beautiful? The only problem with it is that it's not spinning. So you know what? Let's use some wind. That'll definitely cause it to spin. But it's not fast enough, so we do it twice more, and ta-da! We got a spinning galaxy. Because that's how physics work. And just like that, by spinning the galaxy, we create a whirlpool in the sea, and that'll allow us to go into the next bit of the game. And it'll allow me to take a drink. Stay hydrated. So this is the Dragon Palace. The story is that there's this water dragon that's been terrorizing the seas. So we're gonna go to the Dragon Palace to look at, like, hey, why is your dragon doing this? And to fix the dragon, basically, we're gonna go into the dragon. That's all you really need to know. And of course, because we're cool kids and I didn't get enough height, I'm gonna be doing it again. No, fine, I'll just save my dash. It's fine. There we go. We're gonna be doing it out of bounds, right, like this. So hi, dragon. That's how you get into his mouth. Totally normal. So now we're inside of the water dragon, which is very beautiful insides, if I do have to say so myself. And we're just gonna go into the back of this place. And grab a key. There we go. Oh boy. If I was on top of the little spritzy part, I would be on top of the pillar and would be able to jump off earlier, but kind of messed that one up. Oh no, I dropped the key. Whatever shall I do without the key? It just appears back in my mouth. But yeah, this is what we needed the key for, to open this gate. Yeah. And what we're going to be doing now is something unintentional. So, so by turning the camera like so, we can water spout that little orb in the back, and you're supposed to use acid to water spout it. But because the developers were incredibly efficient and smart, they made it so you can just water spout it, which is... yeah, it's a lot easier to program that in. And that allows us, with some cool camera work, to skip like a 1-minute section of the game. Ah, damn. So right here, what I'm trying to do in this fight is I'm power slashing these enemies, and that is their what's called floral finish. And by doing so, I basically skip their death animation and make the cycles go faster. It's a very small time save, but it's pretty cool. And right here is one of the few moments of luck in the game. So you see all these droplets falling from the sky. If I run into these droplets, I get hurt and knocked back. Now in mid-air, I can't dodge them. So if I get hit right here, which I didn't, nice, I fall down into the water and I lose about 20 seconds of time. Luckily, it's one of the few moments in this run involving luck, so that's kind of nice. A lot of this game is very skill-based, especially with the KTs are also quite skill-based, so that's really nice about this game. And just like that, we kind of like, yeah, we kind of killed the water dragon. So we're gonna go to the princess to tell them like, hey, we killed your dragon. And then they get really mad, so we're gonna just run out. And run to a different area. Go! So let's see, not that far behind on estimate. Yeah, I'm gonna do a cool trick in a bit. But if you got anything to say, go ahead.
Alright, I would just like to take a couple moments to hype up some of the incentives that you can all donate for. So coming up later tonight, we have Borderlands 2 with the Face McShooty incentive. It's partially donated to right now, looking for about another $60, and we'll get to do what Shooty wants us to do and shoot him in the face. Additionally, we have a couple of bid wars with Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword file name bid war. Currently, there are no bids. It's like this is your chance to snipe the file name that you want. Additionally, we have Yakuza 6. One of the incentives was met, but we still have the rugby AB cutscene. You don't want to miss that.
Okay, what I just did there, right, is another KT glitch. It's called telekinetic grab. It is incredibly useless, but it looks cool, so I always do it in marathon. We've got another minute of movement, so go ahead.
Alright then. So I'll just take another moment to talk some more about our charity for this event, Crisis. Crisis offers to carry out pioneering research into the causes and consequences of homelessness and campaign for the changes needed to end it for everyone for good. They also plan to end homelessness by working with others. They're producing a plan to end homelessness once and for all.
So right here, we're gonna meet the ghost of a certain person that we never met, and we're never going to meet. Yeah, we're never going to meet them. And they basically show us a shortcut into the city. Which is useful because we need to be in the city right now. Seriously, we're so lucky that all these things are just falling into place for us. So right here we see this bridge. We're not going to be on this bridge for a while because we've basically entered the city from all the way in the back of the city rather than in the front of the city. So we're doing this city backwards. Oh boy. Trying to save speed. And right here we have a beautiful palace and a bunch of weird green mist. Don't worry about the green mist, it'll just blow over, don't worry. Don't worry about it. So right here, we're gonna go into this elevator. And we're gonna do a trick that would be incredibly hard if I was running New Game. Luckily we're running New Game Plus, so we can just do a liquid KT right here over the lava. And jump right over. So you can jump over there without doing the KT, but it's like you have to do 3 frame perfect inputs and buffer them, and it's really hard. It is probably the most difficult trick in this entire run, or in this entire game, I mean. Oh, we just defeated an enemy, by the way. It's a very important enemy to the story. I'm not gonna explain much of the story, by the way, for those who want to play the game themselves. It's not like it really matters in this run. 1, 2, 3. So we basically, at the end of this fight, we get shown the next dungeon, and now we're just gonna run to that next dungeon. And we can just all just enjoy this nice music for a bit. Go. Well, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna do some shoutouts to the Ōkami community. Y'all are great people. So, big shoutouts to Oride and Kryno for destroying New Game. Shoutouts to Cookie or Giant Cookie Jar for finding a lot of really cool glitches that we use in every single category, which is pretty cool. Shoutouts again to Kai for donating 100 euros, and basically just being a cool guy in this game. And Eternal Darkness is also pretty cool. He's one of the older boys. Shoutouts to Frankie in chat. You're cool. And let's see. Who am I missing? Skyrian. Shoutouts to Skyrian for actually making the community a more organized place. It used to be a lot messier, and thanks to Skyrian, it's just so much better. So yeah, shoutouts to him. And if you want to speedrun this game yourself, all the links you can find on our speedrun.com page. Yeah, you can just like find all the places where you need to go to learn the game. So yeah. So yeah, right here, we're gonna go up to the next dungeon, which is an island. The only way we can reach it is by using a water dragon bridge, basically. So yeah, there's the dungeon. There we go. Oof. Ain't it beautiful? So right here, we can do another origin warp, so the same thing I did earlier. However, I can only try it once, so I'm gonna see if I get it, and if I don't get it, we have to, we just have to do the normal strat. Didn't get it. Oh well. And basically, if I got it, I would save like 14 seconds, so it's not bad if you miss it. but it's a nice little strat. Other than that, we are going to jump out of bounds onto the outside of the dungeon, and we're just going to be jumping around the dungeon, basically skipping about 3/4 of this dungeon. What I'm doing here, by the way, is a technique called green hopping. I'm basically jumping the moment I land, and by doing so, I keep my speed, basically, and momentum. And also, especially my height. And because I keep my height, I won't have to do KTs at the top here. That's why we call this section KT-less. Unless you suddenly drop at the end, which isn't nice. I was so high as well. That was like the best KT-less I've had in a long time. We'll push like that. There we go. Like that, we rejuvenate the arrow on the back of that statue, and that'll give us a new brush power. Damn it. And it basically does the same thing as Water Spout, except for electricity. There we go. Now, if you like patterns, you would be thinking right now, like, oh, now he'll just like go back out of the entrance and just leave the dungeon and continue on with the run. Though it is technically possible to leave the dungeon, it is not possible to actually like continue the game after you've left the dungeon, unless you've got a specific brush power, which we skip in this category. So instead, we're just going to go and jump around here into the dungeon. And now this dungeon is kind of special. Most dungeons exist on a single map. This dungeon, however, exists on 3 different maps. So what we're basically doing is we're moving between every single map to the next part of the dungeon. And I got the cycle perfectly. I love getting that one. And after entering that key, another cycle starts, and I can just kind of take my time. So yeah, me just failing that movement is totally fine. It's on 4 maps apparently, okay. Oh right, yeah, no, 4 maps. I think it might even be 5. Oh boy, I'm gonna screw this one up. I didn't get this in practice either. Gonna have to power slash them all. You can jump through all those rings without power slashing, but yeah. So you're right here in this area. We're just going to go to the most important character in this game. He is the best character. I'm gonna run down here. And this is the best character in the game. This is Toby. He basically races you throughout the dungeon. So he's a true speedrunner. And if you do his final race, he will die because he wasn't fast enough to beat you. Just sad. But luckily in this category, we skip killing Toby, so Toby doesn't have to die. He can speedrun for forevermore. Yeah. So yeah, after doing that bit, we're on the final map of Oni Island, and we're gonna go into the boss fight. So this is the first boss fight of the game. This is the only one we can't skip before the end. and we're gonna be fighting Ninetales. So the idea in Ninetales is that you first have to hit him and get him to split up like this. And he splits up into 4 different parts of himself, and you just have to kill them all using a slip. There's always one special character in there that requires more than just a single slip. So I'm always moving to try and get to those before I get there. Now that we've done that twice, he's gonna turn into his non-god form, and we can just shoot him to death. Like that. Or you do not want to save, thank you. And now we go into the last phase of the New Game Plus any percent speedrun. We've gotten double jump, and now we have gotten all the brush powers that we need to finish the game. So now it's time to finish the game. I'm gonna see if I can... Ah! Yeah, well. Should just continue. Messed up that jump. It's been a long time since I messed that one up. Okay. And now we're gonna go back to Shinshu Field. So after defeating Ninetales, we basically... In Shinshu Field, there's a thunderstorm. Right there, you can see it. And we're going to be using that thunderstorm to get into the last area of this game. Now, normally you would have to use another brush power to even get on top of here, but hey, it is an area above another area, like, hello. This is what infinite jumps are made for. There we go. And just like that, we've opened the next area. Technically, the loading zone to this area already exists when you first enter Shinshu, when you first clear Shinshu Field, basically. So, like, 20 minutes into the game, we could have gotten to the last area of the game already. Which is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, damn. Messed up the speed restore right there, but that's fine. And right here we are in Kamui, which is basically a Hokkaido stand-in. And this place is still kind of cursed. So we're gonna go and find the Guardian Sapling to bloom it and fix this area. However, of course, we're not just going to do this the normal way. No, we have to be special. We're gonna go out of bounds and move along the bottom of this game. So by doing this, we basically skip about 2 fights and a bunch of cutscenes. Skippable cutscenes, but it's still kind of slow. And we can bloom this Guardian Sapling from the bottom of the sapling, like that. And just like that, we can move along Kamui. And up next is probably the scariest set of KTs in the game. I'm gonna have to skip a certain fight, and if I don't skip that fight, I basically soft lock. Like, I cannot finish the game if I do that. So right here. Gonna do 1 extra for safety. I can do it in 2, but I do an extra one for marathon. So there we go. We just skipped a soft lock, basically. I had a file prepared just in case I would fall into the soft lock, so don't worry about it. I was prepared. Always have to have a backup in marathons like that. Why not just go around it? You cannot go around that trigger. It is too big. It is not a scroll. It is an actual, like, story trigger. You just run into it and it triggers, rather than the scroll. So right now we're in Webgear. I'm not really gonna talk about it because we're only here for like a minute. Because we're just gonna go over here and then into the next area. You can get stuck inside of that gate, by the way. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I'm not gonna do it right now. So right here, this is the final area of the game. And instead of doing any of the stories, well, it's almost the final area of the game. We're just gonna go straight into the true final area of the game. I've been saying that a lot today. And the way we do that is basically just by doing infinite jump glitches. So the idea is that there's gonna be like a floating thing that we need to get into, and usually you get up via a special bridge. However, the loading zone into that next area at the end of that bridge already exists when you first enter this area. So all we really have to do is get high enough to go into that area. And I'm gonna focus on my KTs for a bit. Last set of the KTs before the end. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go about 2 minutes over estimate. Should have put it at 125 rather than 123. Oh well. So this is the Arc of Yamato. The basic idea is that you have a boss rush right here. And this is the reason why we think collecting brush powers is so we can defeat all of these bosses inside of this arc. Because else we cannot enter the final boss, basically. So this is the first boss. It's Blight. We are supposed to have a certain brush power to be able to defeat him. Luckily, however, he has this attack that allows us to kill him without having that brush power. It's pretty useful. And if you've got anything to say, feel free to do so real quick.
Alright, we have a $60 donation from the tallest dude. He put that towards the Face McShooty incentive for Borderlands 2, which has just been met. So thank you to tallest dude.
Awesome. Oh, I suck at drinking water. Anyway, that's the first boss, and now we're gonna go into the next boss. Now this boss is basically the true final boss of the game. This is the last place you can realistically lose time in without like a lot of your own control. So if you make mistakes after this, you still lose time, but most of the time you lose time over here. So this is Orochi. Now the idea is that we water spout 3 heads to get them drunk. And the cool thing is that if you let Earth do his attack, you can trigger all the other heads to do their attacks. So rather than doing stuff one by one, we just water spout all 3 heads at the same time. Up. I got it a little bit too far away. Okay, cool. There we go. Use 2 slips and we go into the next phase. So for this phase is, because we're so overpowered, all we really have to do is charge our weapon and just one hit each head, one by one. Now the luck part of this is the falling fire, like so. If it falls on top of you, you basically, at the wrong moment, you basically lose a bunch of time because you have to reset the heads. We got lucky there. Oh my god, I'm getting really bad luck from the fire. And hitting these heads is basically all timing, so yeah. It wasn't the best phase 2, but I'll take it. And now we just have 3 more bosses to defeat. And the next 2 bosses are just going to be over really quickly. So I'll try to explain as much as possible of how you defeat them, but it'll be over while I'm doing it, basically. So the next boss is a scary spider. For this one we needed Vine, so that's why we got that breath power. And we're just gonna go into it. So right at the start, I'm going to Vine myself. This is mostly just to get myself in a better position and to not have to do any camera work. Because it allows me to quickly Vine the hooks on Spider Queen's back. Like so. Before I even land. And then, too early. And then it's just 2 slips to kill her and go into the next fight. There we go. This is probably the most boring part of the run, which is kind of sad that it's at the end of the run. Because it's just like you're really hyped when you're on a PvE pace and whatever, and you're just like, oh, let's go! And then you get to this part and it just sucks all the momentum out of you. Because it's just a lot of movement and the bosses are over really quickly. It's a sad part of the run. But everything else about this run, about any specific speedrun in Ōkami, is really cool. Like, all the New Game Plus categories are cool, the New Game categories are cool, even like the 100% category is pretty cool. So right here, first we use a slip to get rid of his armor, then we use Power Slash to get rid of his fire, and then we just one-hit him. There we go. Crimson Helm. This is why we needed the Gilstorm, by the way. But the interesting part of this run is that there is basically a holy grail of this run. A certain glitch that you can find that will basically cut down this category to probably 40 to 50 minutes. Something like that. The idea is basically, if we could skip this boss rush and just go straight to the final boss, we could basically just like Bloom Shinshu, KT into Kamui, and just go straight over here, all the way at the beginning of the game. And that will basically just, you can finish the game really quickly, like that. You wouldn't even need to have double jump. Which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, this is Ninetales again. We met him before. So it's again, hit him once to get him to separate. and destroy all the separated parts. 3, 2, 1. Too early. Now, for this one, we don't have a nice cutscene that'll allow us to quickly dispatch of him, so instead we just use 2 slips. I tried to go for the lucky shot, but I didn't get it, so oh well. Sometimes you get it, and you'll save a bunch of time doing it. And just like that, we have finished the boss rush, and now we can go into the final boss of the game. So yeah, now it's like, ooh, it's all blue now instead of red. And we get this loading zone. So yeah, this specific, that specific loading zone does not exist. And if we can make it spawn, or we could wrong warp into the next area, that will basically be the holy grail right here. So yeah, the final boss of this game. It consists of 5 phases, so don't worry about it. I don't really need to tell Vik, he knows what he's doing. Anyway, first phase. The idea of this boss fight, by the way, is that you've lost all the brush powers you've regained. And we basically, when we hurt him enough, we get our brush powers back. That's the idea. So in the first phase, we kind of fight him normally. And we just... Ooh, I haven't dealt enough damage, but that'll be fine. But yeah, and we just get our brush powers back. And now the sad part of this this fight is basically because we are so overpowered, this fight basically becomes an auto-scroller. Because we've almost completely depleted his health right there. So right now we just have to go through the movements of each phase to get our brush powers back so we can go into the next phase. And that's kind of sad, because this is probably a really well-designed boss fight. At least, it's a really cool boss fight. If you are playing this casually, don't do what I'm doing. Just don't use any like slips or whatever. Just fight him out with your brush powers and your weapons. It's way, way cooler of a fight if you do that. And just like that, we go into the next phase. So yeah, this is what I like to call rigging the slots. So we use 4 slips, I think, or 5. I don't really count anymore, just look at the health bar. And then we have rigged the slot machine. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not making estimate, don't worry about it. I still got about 2 minutes of this boss fight to go. And there we go. And then just one more power slash to get our last brush power back from him. And then we'll be going on to the next phase. It's still very important to pay attention to this. We kind of call it the auto-scroller boss, but there's still a lot that can happen if you don't optimize how you're doing this fight. So there's still a lot of small things you can do to speed this one up. And then we're gonna go on to the second to last phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like to just front load 6 slips into him right here to kind of speed up this fight a bit. Well, not really speed up, but I just like doing that. It doesn't really matter when you use the amount of slips, except for the last 3. Okay, one more. Okay, time is not going to be on final hit, by the way. It's going to be on the final result screen, just so you know. So right there, we're going into the last phase, which is a very emotional phase. I cried. But in this category, it's already over. Okay, get ready on time. And time. So yeah, that is Ōkami New Game Plus any percent in 124.56, which used to be like the holy grail, getting sub 125, but thanks to a lot of cool people in the Ōkami community, this run is now a lot shorter. World record right now is a 1:19:17. And that can still be improved by about a minute if you get good KTs, basically, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you might notice that there's a difference between the in-game time and the real time, and that's because the in-game time doesn't count the lag frames, so even the lag frames that you didn't see during loading, for instance. So that's why it's shorter. But yeah. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll just kick it over to Rusix to send us off into the next run.
All right, thank you for that run. Stay tuned for some ads, everyone.